Audio Jungle.
Good evening. I'm Kelly here reporting for Carnegie Hall. I'm so happy that you've tuned in tonight. Now, as you know, I'm always giving you the inside scoop at Carnegie Hall, and tonight is no different, but with a little twist. See, the Carnegie Hall has a music educators workshop, and I'm just delighted to have one of the participants here with me tonight. She is a wonderful woman who teaches violin all throughout New York City in the borough of Brooklyn, and we're going to get her thoughts and feelings about the workshop this year. Adriana, it is so nice to have you here. I can't tell you how excited I am.
Thanks for having me.
So let's just get right down to it. Well, tell us, Adriana, what was your goal for this year?
My goal this year was to have more fun so that way I can inspire my students to practice more. Not only to just have more fun, but maybe to just not be so heavy on technique with my violin teaching and just really focus on making musicians instead of just little violin machines.
Wow, what a goal. Wonderful. Now, tell me, how did you implement these ideas?
Yeah, there was a lot of things that I changed this year. The first and probably the biggest thing that I changed was my rep. I had been doing the same thing for about 5 years. So I decided to do mostly fiddle music, which was something I could do at a very beginner level and also a very advanced level. It was also something that we could talk about history with, the history of music, American music. It gave me a lot more to connect with the kids with, that they could really connect with on their level. It wasn't something that was overseas. It was also great because it definitely opened up a lot of doors. The kids could dance to it. We could have jam times. You know, we learned how to read guitar tags, which was really great. I also opted out of doing a winter concert this year, so we didn't have to scramble to get a bunch of stuff done by December. I was able to just teach, and we're starting to do recitals now in the spring, and we've had all year to get ready for them, so that's been a huge relief. And I've also just tried to make sure to go in with a smile every day, and that's been, I think, really positive influence on my teaching and on the kids. So
Wonderful, very creative. Now, tell me, were there any particular struggles or things that were difficult implementing your plans?
yeah, I think you know, in the middle of the year it got really tough. You kind of fall back into your old habits. And it was also just that time of year where I wanted to be at a certain place with students, and you know, it still wasn't there. They still weren't practicing at home, so it was just super frustrating. I still had to kind of try and keep reminding myself that this is a music class. They don't have to be perfect. I actually decided not to do a winter concert this year, so I had to keep reminding myself that I wasn't gearing up for a concert, that it was still in the spring and I still had time. And it was hard at that look. I'm trying to do all this fun stuff, but my students aren't practicing still. So that was kind of a weird hurdle. So I kept having to go back to the drawing board and figure out what would get them to practice. So I'm still working on that, actually. And I'm kind of shocked that, I'm not shocked, but I'm surprised that my goal didn't really work out the way that I thought it was going to.
Well, I know it must be very difficult to try and, teach in a different way, but I know I say from Carnegie, we really appreciate your efforts. Now tell us, what were the end results? What's happened after you tried all these things?
Well, it's interesting because, I thought they'd maybe practice more, but it's funny because these last couple weeks, students have been coming out and totally surprising me that they've been practicing. They actually know what the title of the piece is. They're telling people about it. They're telling their uncle, whose name is Joe, that they're playing Old Joe Clark. So that's been really nice that they kind of have a bigger idea of what they're doing. And they know the difference now between fiddle music and classical music. So I was thinking they were going to practice more, but actually I think I've just, regardless of how much they've practiced, I've made better musicians and just better thinkers about music. So that was kind of the outcome, and I'm really happy with it, and they're actually practicing more. So, but maybe because, you know, they're going to have a spring concert soon. That is just wonderful. That is just wonderful. It's interesting to me that, you know, your goal was one thing and you got something that you weren't expecting, but it was still just magnificent. That's just wonderful. Now tell me, you have a few weeks left this year. What are you going to do differently, or how are you going to approach the next few weeks? I'm going to try and still keep this fun, it doesn't have to be perfect attitude towards the end of the year recitals. I get really nervous for them, but I'm just going to try and go in there and have a good time, and hopefully my good attitude will help the kids to have a great performance too.
So thank you so much. And to all the music educators out there, thank you so much for all your hard work this year. Till next time, Kelly, we'll see you later.